It's just awfully good that someone with the temperament of Donald Trump is not in charge of the law in our country.
Yeah, because you'd be in jail.
Secretary Clinton.
But sure, we're all ears, HRC. Here's part of what she wrote for the New York Times. Quote, "It is a waste of time to try and refute Mr. Trump's arguments like in a normal debate. It's nearly impossible to identify what his arguments even are. He starts with nonsense and then digresses into blather. Unfortunately, Mr. Biden starts from a disadvantage because there's no way he can spend as much time preparing as I did 8 years ago. Being president isn't just a day job. It's an everything, everywhere, all at once job, something you, HRC, know nothing about."
A job in which she does know nothing about. You could even say it's a job old Joe knows nothing about as well.
That's why he's hiding out while he's sending out his team to speak for him, claiming this election is between do no wrong Democrats and extreme MAGA Republicans.
There's a contrast there. We have, on the other side, we have congressional Republicans, we have extreme Republicans who want to give tax breaks to billionaires, give tax breaks to corporations. That's what they want to continue to do. There's a big contrast in what we're trying to do on behalf of the American people, majority of Americans, what they want to see, and what we see congressional Republicans, extreme Republicans doing.
So for more on what the so-called extreme Republicans are doing, let's bring in one Florida Congresswoman, Cammack. Kat, good to see you. I love that Democrats are running on Republicans are extreme. It's crazy. But I want to go back to this, Hillary Clinton advice to Joe Biden. In this piece, she also says that Biden needs to be direct and forceful and that he has the facts and truth on his side. Nothing could be further from the truth. Joe can't be direct and forceful. He can't do that in his day job, let alone in a debate. But also, he doesn't have the facts on his side. The American people are suffering, Kat.
Yeah, no, it's pretty crazy, Sean. I mean, think about this. She's saying that he has facts and truth on his side when in reality he has CNN and a mute button, because let us not forget that it was the Dems that basically negotiated this entire deal. No audience, no standing up. They have to be sitting down. I guarantee you, just the way that they did Hillary Clinton in 2016 when Donna Brazile fed the questions to Hillary, I'm sure that the Biden team has an advanced copy of the questions. But the irony is this. Hillary Clinton, a two-time loser, is penning an op-ed in the failed New York Times saying that incumbents have a disadvantage, that he doesn't have time to prep because it's an everyday, all-day job. Never mind the fact that Joe Biden, for 43% of the time that he has been in office, has been on vacation. So in reality, we don't have a full-time president. We have a part-time president and a full-time patient in the White House. That is what is going on.
One thing that, Congresswoman, that Hillary Clinton wrote in that op-ed, and yes, I did read it, and the facts are on the side of President Trump and the Republicans here. She says that Mr. Trump's tariffs alone would mean, in effect, a $1,700 tax increase each year for the average American family. Well, Americans have been suffering with the unnerving, unsettling tax increase of Biden's inflation for 3.5 years. And the American family has been forced to spend almost $1,100 more each month to maintain the same standard of living since he took office. So she's talking about $1,700 a year, which is debatable. And when American families are being crushed by $1,100 more a month that they've got to come up with somehow.
Exactly. The dollars and cents don't add up when it comes to Hillary Clinton. Again, I don't take much stock in what somebody who is Jeffrey Epstein's best friend has to say, because under Joe Biden, not only have we seen Biden economics, which has increased $1,100 a month, as you just stated, but then in a year, families across this country are looking at $14,000 more out of pocket in regulatory compliance, and that's just in and everyday goods and services that they need in order to survive. That's regulatory. That's not buying more, that's not getting more. That is just the regulatory side of this overreaching federal government. And so it is not just the pain at the pump and at the grocery stores that people are feeling, it's everything. Everyone can collectively, whether you're Republican, Democrat, or Independent, agree that under Joe Biden, life is worse. There is not one single issue that I can point to objectively and say Joe Biden has done this better. It is not true that that Donald Trump raised taxes. He did not. He cut taxes. We had a booming economy. Our allies, they could depend on us. But our adversaries, they feared us. Here under Joe Biden, we have open borders. There is havoc around the globe. And we know that another 4 years would put us in more chaos and more just destruction of our constitutional republic. This is something that is very serious. And I think you take a look at this debate coming up. Joe Biden is taking a week to come up with some sort of cocktail in order to stay lucid and awake, whereas you have Donald Trump out on the trail, and he is out there raising money, helping candidates, and he is doing the heavy lifting. Two things, and as Hillary Clinton said, an easy choice. It's Donald Trump all the way.
The best way to prepare for a debate is to get out of the basement and actually get out and meet people, hear what they're thinking, what they're saying. That's the best way, which is exactly what Donald Trump is doing. Cammack, always a pleasure to see you from the great state of Florida. Thanks for being with us on The Bottom Line.
Appreciate you guys. Have a good one.